Now you should be able to hear me. There we go. Okay, I'm new to this. Don't mind me. First time streaming since vacation. Gene, your hair is everywhere. You need a brush today, kid. You need a brush. Dark Third Dimension, you're here. Now the party can start. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hello, chat. Welcome to the fourth in my Milo CNC build. Let me grab the XY axes. Here's what we built so far. The X and Y axes of this machine. Gene, you're in the way. So that's what we built so far. Today we're continuing upward and we're working on the Z-axis. So today we start going up and working on the Z-axis. Let me grab the instructions as to where we're at right now. All right, FMJ. All right. So the LDO Milo kit that I am working off of, that we're working with, the LDO Milo kit comes with the FMJ Mod. So, Hersan, welcome. The FMJ Mod is aluminum reinforcement plates for the Z-axis, because the Z-axis on a Milo standard is 3D printed supports. So they're 3D printed parts you can put together. Marty the Steins, hey, still waiting on my Matter Hacker to send me the 2 frame boxes. 2 times now I sent the wrong box. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm pretty sure you got your first box when I streamed last working on the Milo. So that was like a week and a half ago. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, so the FMJ Mod is this aluminum reinforcement that's bigger than Gene for the side of the Z-axis extrusions. So it just makes it more rigid. You can use 3D printed parts. You don't have to use the FMJ, but the LDO kit just includes the parts for the FMJ. Full metal jacket made of aluminum. I don't know why when I hear full metal jacket I think steel, but it's not. It's aluminum. Joseph Carver, welcome. Good morning. Still a lot of stuff on your shelves. How's your packing going? Listen, let's not talk about that. Literally after stream today is when I need to start hitting the ground running. So, yeah. In fact, I'm at the point now where the Trident is not getting done before the move. I really wanted to have the Trident done before the move. There's no time. There's just not. We are 2.5 weeks away from the move. Not happening. Or no, I'm sorry. 3. Yeah, 3. Just over 3 weeks away from the move. So like, not happening. Okay. How's it going, Cordius? Or Caradius, sorry. It's going good. 3D and T printing. Welcome. Good morning. All right, so pull up the instructions here. That's not what I wanted. Screen share? That's what I wanted. All right. Now we've got 4 extrusions left in here. A and B are our main Z column extrusions. And the smallest one is our Z axis for our rails and such. Yeah, there's just too many. There are a handful of projects I really wanted to at least start before the move, but it's just not happening. Can you see these? Good morning. Oh, that's the chat. Here's how awake I am. I really need to get the next studio. I will get a stream deck so I can set up this scenes and things, so I don't have to keep doing that all the time. Okay. Okay. I guess we're ready to roll. We've got... Let's figure out which of these extrusions is which. Alright, these are our Z-axis frame. These make up the Z-axis frame. Those there. This is our Z-axis that the rails ride on. So, Gene wants to say good morning. No, help if I switch back. Boop, there we go. Okay, so I've got to lubricate some linear rails, I think. Let me look at the instructions here. M8x3 roll-ins, or M3x10. I mean, I'm so confused as to what they're calling for. Strange, but understood. Okay, this is weird. Okay. It's going to be a very strange assembly to put this together. Feels like a strange assembly. So, like, I've got to stack these extrusions, the 2 column extrusions, and then stagger them by 18 millimeters on the third one, and then the FMJ plate goes on the side. Okay. Weird. But I'll get there. Weird, but we will get there. Okay, so I've got to lubricate the... I don't need to do that right now, I don't think. I'm going to work on assembling these. I don't feel like greasing the rails at the second. I really wish the camera on my A1 actually worked. Only works when it's not printing. Anyone else have a problem if you have one? My A1 is still waiting on the bed, the replacement bed, which I kind of hope to get rid of that before the move, but at this rate, I'm not going to be able to. But I've absolutely noticed the Bamboo cameras have gotten worse with time. Something about the updates they've done to those machines have made the cameras worse, where like they reduced FPS mostly, or responsiveness. Like, it's either the app or my desktop. I think it's my desktop. The app works okay. My desktop, I can't pull up the camera view of my Bamboo X1 anymore. Like, I just can't. That grease gun is so useful. Thanks. Awesome. Love to hear that, Tor. I started looking into materials to cut with a CNC, and most of them are really expensive. Very fair. 3D Medic Vince, welcome. AWSW, welcome. Yeah. I was thinking about that recently too. I'm like, oh yeah, material prices have only gotten more and more as I'm getting ready to start running a CNC. Yay. Okay. You know, I do need to, damn it. I realize why I need to, I know why I need to install the rails on here, so I gotta grease these. I gotta grease the rails. Oh, hi. Can I help you? Probably visit local businesses and ask them for scraps. That's a great idea. If you're running a smaller hobby CNC, that's a solid way to go about it. Because, you know, chunks of stuff that they're not going to have much use for are probably just the right size for your needs and wants. So, alright, let's grease a rail. And not get a bunch of cat hair in it. Good luck with that. Bloop. A1 3D and T printing. A1 camera was okay at the beginning, but he's right. After a few updates, it's firmware. It's gotten worse. Bamboo, something they've done in recent history in all of their machines that I currently have. I have a P1S, X1, and an A1. The camera has seemed to become a problem. I don't know what they did in firmware that caused that, but here we are. All right. Wipe off the excess grease here from my little tool. Doing its job. Get the cat hair off of here too. They did add adaptive bed mesh though. That's cool. Yeah, like I said, I legitimately stopped using the A1 when they put out the recall. And I'm waiting on a replacement bed. So, I got nothing. Sorry. I contacted them recently and asked them if they can kind of hurry up on the bed, but haven't gotten it back yet. About to unbox your A1, or an A1. Cool. Did you pick it up from the sale? Pick it up from the anniversary sale? I was tempted to get an A1 Mini, but again, move, so. I Nomad, should have stopped using it, but I killed it, yeah. Yeah, I was tempted to pick up an A1 Mini, but the last thing I need is another 3D printer right now, so not gonna happen. Not happening. Alright, the other rail. I don't see my... Oh, there it is. I want to replace my Mini with it. Yeah, reasonable. I'm rebuilding the hot end of my V0 and umbilical came partially unplugged, so hot end fan stopped. Ooh, that sucks. I've had that happen before. I had the error. I had that happen. One of the hot end fan on my V0 died one time in the early days of it. I had to drill the Dragon high flow out to get the filament. The filament heat creeped all the way to the top of the hot end. I had to drill it completely out. Like, I literally unbolted the hot end and looked at it, and there was a solid mass of filament all the way flush to the top. I'm waiting on the BQ LED upgrade kit because the LEDs inside the X1C ain't bright. That is very true. I added your glass panel's now opaque because you insulated. Yeah, same as mine. Same as mine. Yeah. But I use the riser mod for the top glass and put an LED strip all the way around that. So I can see my X1 from here. My X1's not even on right now, but it's lit up because the LEDs inside of it are on because they're not tied to the machine. Mine's exact same, doing it with a fire instead. Fair. Fair. I just said screw it. I was irritated by it, so I just freaking hit it with a drill bit. I use like a excuse me, 1.5 millimeter drill bit and just drill it out. All right. God, this tool makes this so much easier. Thank you, Mini Grease Gun. Thank you, Mini Grease Gun. Probably add some more LEDs in the Q1 Pro. Yeah, the Q1 Pro really does not have much going on inside of it for lighting. So many of these companies, they just, like the Soval SV08. The LED strip inside the Soval SV08 is like that big. It's like a short little NeoPixel strip. It's silly. It works. It lights up the chamber area, and I'm sure it'll work with enclosures on and whatever, but it's not bright by any means. All right, those are greased. We can get those installed onto this extrusion now. Printed out one of the top hats from my P1S and added the LED strips. So much brighter, and PTFE doesn't rub anymore. Yeah. My first mods were LED strip and clipper expander on the SV08. Understandable. Make your life a lot easier getting mods added onto that in the future too. Okay, M3 roll-ins. We need M3 roll-ins in this extrusion. They delayed the enclosure kits again for the SV08. Lovely. Nomad here in chat is getting my SV08. Speaking of which, Nomad, whenever you want to come and get that, just come and get it. I don't have time to make any more content with it. So if you want to come get the SV08, whenever works for you, let me know. I leave town on Wednesday to go work on the truck again, but otherwise I will be around. So, yeah. 8. Only calls for 8? Chat, the cat is the chillest. Swing by before Wednesday. Cool, thank you. The cat's the chillest, just sitting there watching chat scroll. Yeah, she does that. She just like, I'm good. Just look at me. That's all she cares. Now I'm getting an estimate at the end of the month for the enclosure. Oh, lovely. Yeah, so I'm giving the SV08 to Nomad. And then... Your hair's everywhere. No, that wasn't an invitation to come get... How about you go back to your audience? You want to get down? Are you done? Okay. Go ahead, baby. Alright. Now I'm getting cat hair and all the grease. It's time to time to let her be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay, I only need 4. Only 4 roll-ins. I'm kind of shocked. Something that surprises me about this build, and something I thought about doing differently, I don't think it matters that much, but it kind of surprises me that they don't fill every hole on the linear rails. Cat hair helps rails. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's adding to the wiping effect, right? I'm kind of surprised they don't fill every hole in the linear rails. They do every other hole just like a 3D printer would, where we're more worried about weight. But whatever. Alright, let's line up some rails, or some roll-ins. Alright. Greasy, greasy. Everything I do in here now is making me think about what I want to do differently in the next studio. Like having a paper towel roll mounted to the underside of the bench so it's easier to access. What would you recommend to replace the noisy one from the bottom? You mean the noisy fan in the electronics box of the SV08? Any good quality 24 volt 40 millimeter fan. Yeah. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, I put a Noctua in there. I worry about a Noctua's airflow, as that's basically the only fan for the electronics box. I don't love that. Are you curious how the Milo will compare to the Voron CNC? I don't know. Let me look. DigiKey. I used the 4020 in mine. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I mean, like, here, let's do this together. This is what I do when I'm looking for fans. I go to DigiKey, products, fans, DC fans, and then I just, okay, I want a 24 volt fan, voltage rated to 24 volts. I want to pick a 40 millimeter fan. I want a square fan, 40 millimeters. 40 by 40, apply. And then I sort, well, in stock, I make sure to put in stock, apply this filter, and then, where's noise? I sort by decibel level, and then just look for a fan. What's going to work for me? 4 CFM out of this CUI device? This 15 millimeter one's 5 CFM. How loud is it? That's not what I meant to do. 5 CFM, 17 dBA. Like, some of these are quieter than Noctua's too, and still move a decent amount of air. Because a Noctua 40 millimeter, I think, is somewhere around 17, 18 decibels. I'm guessing. I forget. I could look. Noctua 24 millimeter or 24 volt is 19.6 decibels. 19.6 decibels out of a 40 by 10 Noctua. So 24 volt. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of fans on DigiKey. Looks like mostly CUI devices ones, 15 and 20 millimeters that flow a decent amount of air and are quieter than Noctua's too. So like, I love Noctua fans, I really do, but I'm kind of moving away from them for printer project stuff. So yeah. All right. Okay, back to what I was at. Hope that helps. Nice, thanks. Cool. All right. Greasy. All right. Boop, boop. Some M3 by 10s. I just went for on Amazon and went for the fans that light up. That's how you know they're good. Or use a voltage step-down module to add any fan. Yes, absolutely. And there's plenty of space in the electronics box to add a buck converter. I just, honestly, I kind of order the fans I want for whatever application I want now. So I usually don't worry so much about voltage, depending. So. Okay. Ow, M3 by 10s. M3 by 10s. I messed up my hardware here because I had to film another video. M3 by 8. Where are my M3 by 10s? I don't see them. That's not good. M5 by 10. That's going to be all the ones for the side plates, I'm quite sure. The FMJ plates. M3 by 5, M3 by 6, M3 by 8, 5 by 12. No, what the fuck? Oh, M3 by 10. They were like weirdly bunched up. Anyone here with a Milo kit coming already? Look up Metal Supermarkets. Got one here in York, PA. Yeah, so that's usually a pretty solid source for a more affordable metal. Absolutely. It's time for some Loctite. Oh, I'm forgetting. Oh gosh, my Loctite leaked on the workbench. Damn it! Good thing I'm not taking this workbench top, and I'm gonna make a new one for the new studio. This one's been getting messed up lately. What the hell? Don't tell me I'm... Oh, did it leak out all my damn... I might have gone through it. Some people say that these tubes of the gel Loctite last them for years. I think I've gone through this one already. I've only had it for a few months. It leaks out the bottom on this one. And like when I stand it up like this, it leaks out the bottom. That's what just happened. It stuck to my bench. And then it eats the damn polyurethane on my bench. I gotta figure out a better finish for the next workbench, I think. Polyurethane's great, but it gets eaten by a lot of things that I work with. Well, this isn't coming out, so... Where are my Knipex? In my tool belt. Might have to go to the other Loctite. To the plain old Loctite it is. Alright. Alright, little blue Loctite on there. Cool. Oh, more blue Loctite. Alright. These sick little clip tools that really clip onto the extrusions. Love it. I like that about the design. This one design from the Milo team. These clip-on extrusion alignment tools are cool. As long as you can get them off at the end. Loctite. I need a custom skeletonized Cobra Max aluminum bed. What's my best route of getting that done? How do you mean skeletonized? Do you mean a bed frame that supports the bed structure, or the whole print bed, like the actual surface that the magnet and the heater element will be mounted to? Because if you need just the bed frame, okay. Then your best bet is design it in CAD, create a DXF file, and upload it to Send Cut Send. Have it laser cut by Send Cut Send. That's your best bet, in my opinion. Or other similar services. I just find in the US anyway, Send Cut Send is the most reasonable priced, I think. You know, somebody like PCBWay will be cheaper, but you gotta wait for it to come. Wish Send Cut Send was shipped to EU. Yeah. Yeah, that's an unfortunate fact of it. It's US manufacturing, so US shipping and all that. I use Send Cut Send for all that kind of stuff, personally. Like, if I was doing a skeletonized bed frame, which I have considered doing on numerous machines, that's where I would go. Alright, tighten these down. Get one rail attached. I'm surprised there's not nut bars for this. There's multiple things about this kit that kind of surprise me. Come on. All right, that's done. Now on to the second side. I got to get these off of here. Here's where the clip-on design of this doesn't help. Is when they clip on, you can't really get them off easily. These tools, that is. That's a lot of gloop. What's a lot of gloop? Did I use a lot of gloop here? Gloop tea? Oh, the gloop tea. Yeah, yeah. I can't see it, but it's behind chat from my perspective. Yeah. Gloop tea. Chemicals. Chemicals. Alright, where did I just put those stoppers? Put the stoppers back in so they don't go flying off the ends of these rails. Cool. Next, next, next. Alright. Put my guides on here. Now I can put some screws in. Screws. Remember, kids, drinking gloop gives you superpowers. I make no such qualifications about any powers may be granted or not. But I make sure to have a cup of gloop every day. Gloop tea. Asterisk. I missed the paste already. I missed the paste thread locker already. All right. Couple more screws and we'll be done with this part. Sorry, my nationality dictates 2 liters of coffee every day. I've got to make the switch. I think it might finally be time that I give up the monsters. I tried to give them up last year and switch to coffee, but then I kept getting acid reflux, like indigestion from the coffee. So I went back to monsters. But now I'm kind of getting like it's probably the stress of the move, honestly, but combine that with the monsters, I've been getting like kind of a hypertension kind of feeling going on in my chest. I'm like, nah, that's not good. That's not good. So it's time to switch back to coffee, but I'm going to start taking like a Prilosec or something every day. So I've been getting like, getting old sucks. I've been getting like heartburn so frequently anymore, but I think it's just time to start taking like a John Olson, good morning. I think it's just time to start taking something like a Prilosec or one of those one of those daily acid reflux preventatives. Petty Ruxpin, welcome. We getting old. Energy drinks and coffee are just bad for us. You are correct. I mean, realistically, they're probably bad for us at any age, but here we go. My 40th in 3 days. Is it okay? Happy birthday early, since I'm sure I won't get to talk to you between here and then, most likely. But happy birthday, and I'm sorry. My condolences. My birthday is a little over a month away, but I'll only be 39. So I got another year before I gotta face that. Another year. All right. Wipe the jean hair off these. I remember my 40s, kinda, not completely. I'm not sure I remember any. I'm not sure I remember my 30s at this point. I quit drinking over a decade ago, so. All right. Wipe these down a little bit. Clean things up. I'm not handling greasy shit the whole time. 39 just a spring chicken. I'm 55 this time around. Whoo boy. Congratulations on that. I I aspire to wake up in that pain. 43 a few days ago. Knees are 55 10 years ago. Happy birthday, by the way. Yeah, yesterday we flew home from our vacation in California, and we booked me an exit row seat because I'm 6'1", so like it's already kind of difficult for me. In like the seats just keep getting closer and closer together, so I already have a hard time fitting. But on the way out to California, my right knee was killing me, and all I needed to do was straighten my leg out. I just needed to straighten my leg out and stretch it a little bit. But I was in a middle seat in a regular row. So on the flight back, we booked exit row seats. And unfortunately, Ruby got bumped out of hers, but I got mine. And I'm so happy for it. My knee was just, it hurt. Wait, I'm the youngest at 29? There's usually some youngsters in here, some folks younger than you, but don't know about today. Don't know about today. We flew home yesterday too, booked Comfort Plus, 9-hour flight, and then 2-hour flight worth the extra money. Yeah, Ruby and I said that on the way out there. We had a bunch of flight trouble getting out to California, and we said that. We're like, you know what? We're reaching the age now where it's time to start paying. It's time to start paying a few dollars more and get better flights. If you're in pain at 39, you're in for a treat. Thanks. Thank you. Looking forward to it. Yeah. That's years of selling your body. That's the ever-present, like, working manual trades for years of your life is selling your body. And that's it. Thank you. What are we going to mill first? I don't know. Probably just some plywood first. It's that point in your life, in your age, where you can't contort your body for that long anymore. Yep. It is absolutely that. You are correct. A benchy. A benchy. That's it. We'll chalk up a benchy and mill the smokestack off of it or something. I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I'm not quite sure we're going to get a chance to... At this point, I'm not sure that we're going to get a chance to mill anything until the new studio. I was talking to one of Jake from the Millennium team, because when we get to milling with this thing, Jake wants to come on and do a stream with us. And it's definitely where we're going to, he's going to walk me through setup and first cuts and all that. And I told him it's not going to happen to the new studio. Julie, I did a decade of manual labor, and I'm certainly paying for it. With cold weather, my hands kill me. Yeah, my hands all day, every day. I have to pop my knuckles all the time. My 10-year-old was complaining she didn't have enough room on the flight. I just looked at her like, really, really. Just be safe, lads. It's way more power than needed to maul your hand. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All right. Place D extrusions at the top of the column. All right. I'm going to lay out on the bench here what we're working with. So what I need to do to assemble this column, the Z column, is I need to do this. I need to switch camera angles. I need to set this up like this, and then that third, the Z-axis, the one that actually has the rails on it, goes like this. But I've got to set this at a certain distance, height. Yeah. Okay. So these three get lined up with each other. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3 blocks to kind of situate things end to end. Mark Scrub, welcome. Hello. All right, now I can put these. Damn it. That's not helpful. The carriages on the linear rails stick off the side of here. That's actually going to make this kind of difficult. I don't want to pull these off of here, but I think I have to. At least the one side. It's going to make my life easier. See your that or hanging off the edge of the bench, and that's asking for trouble. That's going to make trouble, so. All right, those are popping off. I haven't used the OBSbot. Let me get the OBSbot fired up. Get the controls for that going. Yeah, I'm just going to pop the one side off. Luckily, the kit does come with all of those little plastic injection molded carriages, so you can do that easily enough. Okay, now I can set that where it needs to be. Cool. OBSbot, did you kick up? Yes, you did. All right. Let's switch to that angle. Get a bird's eye perspective on what I'm doing. Not my dome. This. Not my dome. This. Okay. So I've got these three lined up with each other. And then this one's got to go 18 millimeters up from this. Eddie saw my video on the BTT screen for the SV08. Right now I'm trying to make a mount that doesn't require holes. Uses the OG mount. Cool. Honestly, it's got to be doable. I would think your best bet would be to make it a two-piece mount for the screen. So like the screen mounts to one piece. Place the FMJ under it. Alexander, thank you. That is, I brain farted. That would have been the way to go. You're right. Probably. It's like the same thickness as the carriages. I don't want to risk it. That is a good idea, though. That is a good idea. Yeah, I would think a two-piece mount. Like, you bolt the front half where the screen mounts to, and the back half that has the nubs that go into the screen mounts. I would think that's probably the path to go. All right, I'm setting my calipers to 18 millimeters so I can set the distance of that. All right. Nomad, upside down printing makes you look a bit that bit older. Honestly, upside down printing has probably made him physically that much older. Working on a project like that, I do not envy the stress and the trouble of it. So that's probably not too far from the truth. Sorry to say, Nomad. All right, cool. 18 millimeters. Now the FMJ plate can go on the side of this, but I got to get a whole bunch of inserts in here now. Whole bunch of inserts in here. That's the OBSbot camera controls. Okay. M5 by 10s, 68 of them we're going to be installing. The anti-grav has some aging properties. I see everything. All right. Just a whole lot of M5 roll-ins. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 14. Just a lot. How many do I need to put in? A lot. All right. back to beep, obspot angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in this one. 10 in this one. This is definitely a part for the electric screwdriver. You are not wrong. We will definitely be starting the screws with the electric screwdriver. You are not wrong. Come on. Ugh. Second one I go to put in doesn't want to go. Some of them are just a little more finicky. I cannot download the OBSBot software. Just picked up the Meet 4K today. Did you experience the same issues? Nope, I had no issue. It just installed perfectly fine for me. The OBSBot Center. Can you CDs? Finish stream later. All right, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Oh, wow, that one really, like the ball in it doesn't want to compress. Ay. It's really annoying. I'm gonna have to resituate everything after I get these. Realistically, granted, if I read the instructions, they probably have said it. I should really install all of these, then line everything up. But you know, thoughts and things. It requires thinking. It requires thinking. Ugh. I'm getting an oddly high incidence of these M5s not rolling in nicely. More than I'm used to with LDO. I'm gonna have to inform them of that. That is giving me trouble. Can't connect to the site. Error in my browser. That's annoying. Have you tried a different browser? Not to say that is the fix, but that would be the first thing I'd try. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 3, 6, 10. Okay. 10 in place. Now 7 in the next one. Kegel, good morning. Good morning. I really hope we get this all assembled today. I don't want to be messing around with this forever. I should probably mark it on this extrusion where the 18 millimeters is, but I just want to make sure I'm lining these up worth a damn first. All right. Using a hex wrench to line up the holes in the FMJ plate with the M3 roll or M5 roll-ins here. Cool. Next row. Good. Good. All right, now I can put in the M5s. Not quite. Close, but no cigar. All right, now I can start the M5s into this. Ay, ay, ay. M5 by 10s. Had a boatload of them. Where'd they go? M5 by 8. M5 by 10. There we go. Use the electric screwdriver, save myself some frickin' trouble here. And start running these in. I don't necessarily... I think I'm just going to put... Oh, shit. You know what? I'm not going to do that yet. Damn it. Because I need to align... You know, that doesn't matter. Loctite. I need to set the distance, the height of this last rail, or this last extrusion, but I can measure with the plate in place. For a second I didn't think I could, but I can. When in doubt, send it and yell at yourself later. You are correct. That is the theme of these streams. Theme of these streams. Next studio setup, I'm hoping to have an overhead angle. Hoping to have an overhead angle in the next studio setup. I bet like a legit, like straight down overhead, not the obspot that hangs, that comes down at an angle. I do like that, but you know, I want to have more angles in the stream in the next studio setup. We'll get there. We'll get there. If you use a drone, it could be any angle. You're right. I do have a drone. I don't use it in videos nearly enough. Just got to work out a little bit of noise cancellation. Just a little bit. 68 watching and only 11 likes. Jeff Bradley, good point. There's a terrible over-engineering part of me that likes the idea of a PTZ on an XY gantry. Did you ever see Marius Hornberger's linear rail overhead setup? I have not. Don't worry, I've got some ideas about that for the next studio. I really don't want to give it away yet, but I got some thoughts. But that's like down the road because it's not going to be a small project. But I have some thoughts on that. How old is Jean? I have a Herschel who has been eyeballing her earlier in the stream. She's 7? 6 or 7. She's either 6 or 7. Loud noise. Line this up at the bottom of the extrusion. Just a hair past. Alright, that feels pretty good. They have the same patterns, only he's brown with black. Cool. Kegel, make that 21 likes. Alright. Alright. I'm forgetting I can like. Is there anything better than a creator liking their own stuff? Now it's 22. I pull up the stream on a second channel on the TV in front of me so that I see the same perspective that you folks see it the whole time. That's the way I monitor chat, is through another channel, usually. I have access to it here, but it's easier when it's at the camera perspective behind me, or ahead of me. So I'm at least somewhat talking more toward you folks. Okay. Now, more. This extrusion gets 4. There's like none that go into this extrusion, into this one extrusion in the middle. Kind of weird. 23 now. All right. Okay. Set this aside for a minute. I got to put 4 into here. Nope, those are the bad ones. Yeah, I got a lot of ideas about how I want to set up the next studio. We will see where we land on them all. You know, I don't know how realistic some of them are, especially expense-wise. I got to figure all that out, but we'll see. We'll see. I'd hope to have a merch, like a t-shirt line or something, ready to roll for the move time so that I could help to generate a little more revenue to do the next studio with, but unfortunately it didn't happen in time. So, is what it is. Wrong hole. I'm not complaining about not having to put more screws in, but I do feel like there could be even stand to be more in these pieces. I could be overkilling it. Like, my overkill mind is just like, just fill this thing with roll-ins and bolts. It's the way my brain works anyway. More bolts. I don't think I should have put one in there. Shouldn't have put one in there. Okay, but one in here. If you have more screws, it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, there's not more holes. I'd have to drill more holes in the FMJ plate, is what it comes down to. So, and I'm not making the FMJ plate. Like, a lot of people, when they make this thing, or one of the ideas of it is, you could print it, you could build it with printed parts, and then you could machine your own FMJ mod to rebuild it stronger to get your tolerances better. And if I was machining my own, sure, I would add more holes and I would bolt it up more. But I didn't do, I didn't have them, so. I didn't machine those, so. Okay. Let's line these up. That roll-in shifted. This roll-in keeps shifting every time I push it. FMJ is stronger, also 50 millimeters more Z, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe you're correct. It creates more Z clearance. More Z-axis clearance. Clarence. All right. Cool. Okay. I can put the screws into that one. Oh, you just broke your positron. When do you need to leave for open sauce? Steve, good morning. Good morning, Steve Builds. What'd you break, Nomad? What'd you break? You're over here breaking a positron, and Steve's going to be building a positron today. Note for modding, make sure the positron can fold with the mods you make. Yeah. Oh, you hadn't folded it with the micro probe mount yet. Ah. Kriva 3D just finished the first part of my chaotic CNC drives. Dang, that stuff looks and feels good. I really wish I had time to play with the chaotic kit I have. We're going to be redoing that 2.4 with the chaotic kit, full CNC kit from chaotic. I don't know if we're going to replace the Z drives. We're definitely going to replace everything on the gantry with the CNC parts. But I'm not going to have time for that before the move, so it's going to have to be at the next studio. That's going to have to be the next studio. Why isn't this folding flat? Pushed, bit, crack. You know, I was looking at that mount this morning in a picture you posted, and I'm thinking, that thing is, like, not flimsy, but, like, not exactly the thickest of mounts, so that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so these aren't even close to lined up. Yeah. You need to create you should not to put more work on your plate, but you should probably create like a model of the positron in the folded position. I am terrible with constraints and assemblies in Fusion. I am terrible with it. But there's got to be a way to create the pivot point constraints so you could actually fold it in Fusion and be able to like check that stuff, I would think. But that's above my pay grade. I'm redoing my 2.4 as well. It was due for some maintenance after 2,300 hours. Mine only has like 1,300 hours on it, but it was never built right to begin with. Like, the gantry is not great. It needs love. So yeah. So we're gonna do a full overhaul on that. Regrease rails, probably replace the X-axis rail with a lightweight one, but yeah. Has anyone in the space really done a maintenance video? I think Nero has at some point. I think Nero has, but yeah, I've been considering that. Doing just like a maintenance video on machines. I don't know. Definitely something I know people would like to see. I get requests for it. So I should really consider it. All right. Get these lined up. Put some screws in. Nero did, but it's old. Okay. So maybe I'll do that in the new studio, because I'm going to be setting up a lot of, resetting up machines. It'll be a really good time to do something like that, especially in the new studio. There's going to be plenty of time as I'm building things out where I'm not going to be able to like do bigger projects until things are in place. Like, it's not going to be move and then immediately dive back into big fun projects, unfortunately. It's definitely a process to these things, so that'd be a great video for that time. I'll put that on the list. We'll put that on the list. Only been in the should time lapse the studio setup. Yeah, I always think those kind of things would be awesome to do, but then the reality of them is, why is this one not threading in nicely? The reality of them is they just, like, the whole process takes so many days, and there's so much just like boring standing around looking into a corner going, what's gonna go there? What's gonna go there? That, like, I gotta figure that out, you know? Don't believe I've seen Nero. Nero, if you've only been in 3D printing for a year, Nero mostly streams these days. He used to make more videos. He does make videos, but Canuck Creator, formerly known as Nero 3D, the ever fun rebrand of nobody will change calling him Nero. He'll be streaming with Steve after this. Oh, seen Nero, just not his maintenance videos. Got it. Wording caught me out there. Yeah. But yeah, the idea of time lapses always sounds like a good one, and then I'm no good at them. In that respect. I get too caught up in the moment. But I will have a shop tour video soon. Nero and Twitter can't rebrand. You're not wrong. God, this one does not want to thread in. I think the threads are messed up in this one roll-in. Refuse to call Twitter X. Yeah, so do I. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. It's not X, it's Twitter. If your new name could be confused for a porn site, you failed at branding. Well, then again, now it is a porn site, so... Wow, these two M3, or M5s, these last two, don't want to thread. Make sure it's an alignment issue. These might be Loctited, the old redneck way. These last two might be redneck Loctited in a second here, because I do not feel like dragging these out of here. Yeah, I think the last two are getting redneck Loctited. All right, those feel pretty lined up. Been wondering, what's the control on this? The control board, the control system. It has a Milo mainboard. The build uses a Milo mainboard and RepRap firmware. So, RepRap firmware. Happy manufacturing, cross that better than no thread. Exactly. Also, happy manufacturing. Thank you for being a member for a month. Appreciate it. Thank you folks for all the support with memberships and... Oh, by the way, if anybody happens to not be a channel member, I did post a... Marcel, welcome! If anybody happens to not be a channel member, I did post photos of the new studio space and some behind the scenes like plans for this new studio space as members only post. So incentive to join up, maybe join up and you can see the new studio space ahead of time and maybe weigh in on some of the design ideas I have for it. Okay, we've got the first side together. I don't know if I want to go tightening those together, tightening all of those until I put the other side plate on. I think I'm gonna wait. So I'm gonna flip this over now, and yeah. New studio space is looking good. Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited. I'm just daydreaming every day about what I'm gonna do with the new space. Just daydreaming. Okay. Second verse, same as the frickin' first. RepRap has their own CNC control software. RepRap firmware can be run. You can run RepRap on, I believe, lasers, CNCs. Gonna cat up your studio design ideas. If I had the accurate dimensions, I already would have done the layout, probably. I wanted to do that, at least like a rough sketch of it, but I don't have the exact floor plan measurements because it's a weird shape. It's like a staggered shape. So I haven't bothered with that yet. But John, I probably will sit down and start drawing stuff out before we start really building it. I don't want to waste the space. So RepRap is able to control CNCs as well as like lasers and 3D printers, but Linux CNC is an optional setup on this. You can run Linux CNC on it, but the official setup is RepRap. They're working on what they're calling Millennium OS. I don't know I believe that's Linux CNC based. They're working on their own Millennium OS firmware, and I believe it's Linux CNC, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, Jay, I don't think Jake's in the chat today to give us the insight. Yeah. But yeah, John, I do intend to at least Millennium OS is in RepRap. Okay. Yeah, are you running Millennium OS at this point? Millennium OS is RepRap with a bunch of front-end pretty stuff. Yeah. I've been using it. Seems pretty nice for a guided experience. Okay. I think I'll probably go that way after initial setup. Sweet Home 3D is fast and free planning software to plan rooms. All right, that's cool. Thank you. Because we got a whole house worth of rooms to plan, so I'll look into that. Got a whole house of rooms to plan. We ended up, I don't think I've really mentioned this, we ended up with a bigger house than we wanted or were looking for necessarily, because finding a large enough garage space for me was proving difficult. So we ended up getting a larger house than we anticipated, so that we could have a good enough shop space for me. And so we've got stuff to figure out. As like rooms, we're like, I don't know what we're gonna do with this. More room for activities. Yeah, pretty much. More room to make silly big projects for videos in, I think, is pretty much what it comes down to. Like, the entryway is like a vaulted ceiling room, like living room. It's like 20+ foot ceilings in there. And I'm like more than slightly tempted to do like a 3D printed cat tower that goes way up. So the cats can like go up and climb the steps through the cat tower. I don't know. Better print it before moving in. More room for more printers. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure that is not what Ruby had in mind. But I do think I might separate like an office space for like a game stream room for myself and get back to like Twitch streaming a little bit. We'll see. You have room for an orange or a Gigastorm now. Ugh. Don't make me think about that. Maybe more machines different than printers. I definitely want to go a little different. Yeah. I definitely want to keep down this like CNC and other route. I do agree with that. So we'll figure that out. Could use a table saw and like just a few things. A hang printer. Yeah. Okay, let's start lining these up. Drone powered printer. Yeah. Flycron. Oh yeah, we can build a Flycron. There we go. I am looking forward to being in a more open environment where I feel like I'll probably be able to use my drone more. Not necessarily in the house, but I'm really interested to see where the Rack Robotics EDM stuff goes. Me too. I need to reach out to them. I didn't spend nearly enough time talking with them at Rocky Mountain. I should have. especially with my background as a metal fabricator, like, it just makes sense. Is the FMJ mod designed to be machined on the Milo? Yes, Nathan, it is. So the FMJ mod is intended to be machinable on the Milo. So the idea is you can build this machine with printed parts, set up, and then machine your own FMJ mod on it, rebuild it with the FMJ mod, and now you rebuilt your machine. That's a lot of the idea with the Milo, is like, you don't have to build it this way. You can, well, the same thing is the CNC machined mounting plates that LDO includes for the Z-axis and Y-axis and X-axis. There are printed versions of these, and I didn't realize these came with it. I printed these parts before I realized. So you could, again, build the machine these yourself, and then rebuild it, and you can upgrade your own machine. Really, it's kind of it's very rep in that kind of concept of build it however you can, and then use it to replicate new parts for it and build it, upgrade itself. Marcel, Rat Rig V-Core 1000, I don't know about that. A V-Core 500, yes. V-Core 500 is going to happen. I don't know about a 1000. I don't have any more space than I do in this one. The new studio is the same size, square footage, same square footage as the current studio. So I need to be mindful about how I lay it out. But that's okay. Yeah, it's the same square footage as the current studio, so. And I'm already at the limits of this space, so I need to be a little more purposeful with the next space about how I set it up. The dilemma all studio owners run into: not enough space. Absolutely true. It's the goldfish dilemma. However much space you have, you will fill it. I feel like that's makers in general. You know, you just, however much space you have, you'll maximize it, and you'll make maximum use of it. Jose, welcome. Eddie Reyes, gotta go vertical. Yeah, definitely planning more vertical for the next space. Like, I'm picturing, I think at one area I want to do, I don't have a studio, I have too little space for my printers. Exactly. You'll fill up whatever space you do have. I'm thinking one area, not the backdrop, but I am thinking one area will probably be like 3 levels of printers, like a print farm area, where I can have, I was almost tempted to build them on like drawers, like 3 drawers there I could pull out and access machines easily for working on or whatever, but have like a little print farm set up with probably a Voron 2.4, my Bamboo X1, maybe the P1S, and like kind of put those all together in one area that's just like making maximum use, where I can fit like 6 printers into 5 or 6 printers into one section. So definitely thinking vertically. That will be a thing. Stacking Vorons in a drawer system, kind of a thought. We'll see. Because like building a strong enough drawer to do that, not easy. Like, I don't want these things shaking around all the time. Prusa thing with stackable printers, yeah. And I do, like, a handful of the enclosed Mark IVs like that would be a solid setup, and maybe that's a direction to go. I've been really happy with that Mark IV, minus a few issues, but the Modified XL, the PFAS, Print Farm Automatic System or something like that, I think they call it. Something like that. Or automation system or something. So, yeah, there's definitely some thought there. Because, like, there's, like, you know, I want to have my backdrop with my, like, my Voron and my Mercury One, or Probably the rat rig will probably end up in the background too. I'm not sure. But then I want to just have a section that's like these are the machines that can just run and like produce parts, and probably even maybe put a curtain over the front of it or something to cut down on noise so they can be running while I'm filming and not be making too much racket. There's a lot of ideas. Suppose there's a way to lock the machines down while printing, then unlock when finished. There's totally a way to build a beefy enough drawer that like locks into place and then be able to slide it out and whatever. The harder part is like good quality drawer slides that are going to hold a shelf that's sturdy enough for 2 3D printers or, you know, whatever. And then the machines. So like, you know, that Voron probably weighs 60 pounds, I'm guessing. I'm that's shot in the dark. I'm purely guessing. But 2 of those, that's 120 pounds, plus a shelf strong enough to hold them. You're probably looking at another 50 pounds, maybe if I make it an aluminum frame with a piece of plywood for a base, whatever. You know, you still imagine 2 or 3 magnetos. Oh crap, I forgot where the magneto is going to end up. That magneto is heavy. I don't 100% know where the magneto is going to end up too. Or the, I know where the, I'm pretty sure I know where the FL Sun S1 is going to end up. Anybody who, any members who know what I'm talking about, who have seen the behind the scenes stuff already, I think my desk area is going to be the like corpo area, and I feel like the S1 is going to fit really well there. So my 2.4 lives on a low profile cart on the ground. I think that's what Nero did with his magneto. His magneto is like on the ground. Matco slides hold 300. The Matco, yeah, I do have extra Matco slides too, but yeah. Planning a studio space is basically playing IRL 3D Tetris. You're not wrong. I mean, I can get a handful of like good quality drawer slides, like Matco drawer slides or toolbox slides, and they'll be plenty strong, especially if I double them up. Because like, you know, a Matco toolbox, the top drawer has 2 slides, so that's 500-600 pounds of weight rating on the slides. You just need to build a shelf that mounts 2 of those. So could use server rack rails. I don't know if they're going to hold enough weight. Not a bad idea, because I've got like, you know, one of my servers probably weighs 50-60 pounds and it's on rails, but okay, I can put screws in this one now. Build a Ferris wheel of 3D printers. Woo, round and round it goes. We'll pick which machine whatever machine it's like a roulette wheel. Whatever machine it stops on is the one we use for that project. You're handy with metal. I know. The problem is, there's 2 problems to it. I'm selling off some of my metalworking equipment first of all, before the move. Like my current TIG welder, I'm selling that. I don't feel like moving it. So I'd have to buy a new welder to like make an aluminum frame for shelves, which I'll probably do anyway. That's one thing. But I don't like, I like trying to keep my projects approachable. So like, my thought with the projects that I produce on my channels is generally trying to do them in a way that other people out there can fairly easily recreate. Because like, yeah, sure, I could build whatever custom steel and aluminum structure I want. Expense is going to get up there pretty quick. But also, like, okay, let's TIG weld this aluminum frame together. Like, that's above a lot of people's pay grade. And I try not to do that stuff as much as I can in videos, which does limit some of what I can do. Well, like, this shelf behind me that all these printers are on is over an inch. It's like 2 inches taller than it needs to be. Klaas Deller, I am so sorry. I am never going to be able to pronounce your name properly. Klaasdellert. Klaas Dellart. Yeah, I've got nothing. I'm so sorry. But thank you very much for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I'm going to butcher the hell out of your name. But thank you for becoming a channel member. What woodworking tool are you bringing with you? Just the only woodworking, like, specific thing I'm bringing is, like, my miter saw. Bringing my miter saw. Belgium indeed. Yeah, that's why I can't pronounce it. But thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. You can now go check out the channel members preview on the new studio space and kind of get an idea what's coming loosely. But like I'm getting rid of my bandsaw. That pains me, but I just can't justify moving it across country with me. I'm getting rid of my drill press. I'll probably get a new drill press when I get to out there. Again, just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to move. That's the biggest problem. Is a lot of these tools are just, they're a little too difficult to justify the move with, you know. I have a table saw I'm not going to be taking. It's just a basic Craftsman table saw, but timber frame shelves with Milo cut brackets for simple assembly and joinery. That's not a bad idea. Why are you being weird? Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. And that and that's one of those things I need to learn to think in CNC, having the Milo. Like, I don't want to use the Milo too much in projects because it will create that like, oh, I can't recreate this issue. However, there are plenty of services out there like PCBWay, JLC PCB, Xometry, where you can get things CNC'd for you. So, like, it doesn't totally cut that out, and it also gives me a great avenue to be like, by the way, sponsor of this video, PCBWay. They're not currently a sponsor, but it opens up that opportunity. To be like, hey, you might not have a Milo to make this, but you could get, I'll give you the design files, and you could take them to these folks and get it made. You've been watching for a few weeks and thought you might as well subscribe, become a channel member. Thank you very much. A perfect Sunday afternoon stream. I mean, that's honestly, that's why I do these, why I'm doing these Sunday morning streams, is for you folks on the other side of the ocean there, to be able to join in and not be so wait. PCBWay, a YouTube sponsorship company with sideline in manufacturing. Yeah. Yeah, pretty sure just about everybody in our space has done at least a sponsorship with them. Are you going to use the manufacturing tab in Fusion to program the Milo or getting CAM software? I will be using Fusion's CAM software, yes. I will be using the Fusion CAM. There's the Milo team has some add-ons, some like plugins for Fusion that directly help with CAM for this machine, to my knowledge. And also I run Fusion, so, you know. What brand is this screwdriver? It is IFU. IFU. I think it might be linked in the description of this stream. I honestly forget. It used to be. It is not currently. I'll grab it quick and drop it in chat. Last I checked, it was on sale for less than 30 bucks. It is still. It's $28 right now. It's not strong, but it is so handy for this stuff, you know? There we go. Dropped it in chat. 3D and T Printing. Thank you for 5 gifted channel memberships. Thank you for gifting some channel memberships. 3D and T Printing. Thank you. We got Loop 101. 3D and T, you got one of your own gifted memberships. There you go. Since I've been watching for years. Thank you for the support. Appreciate it. RH3D. Panzer Cotton. Ken E. All got channel memberships. Thank you to 3D and T Printing. Yeah, I love this little thing. I've had one or two people say that they bought the same one and had it die on them. I've had this one for over 2 years now without issue, so. Okay. All those are started in there. Boo-boo. Yeah, it's great for these, like, these exact issues. Just rolling in. Ah, oh, damn it. I'm an idiot. I didn't roll in all the nuts into here because on the other side I just pulled the plate back and forth to line them up. I can't do that on this side. Oh well. I'm going to push them in from the end. I need one of those. I have a manual ratcheting screwdriver. Yeah. I like, don't get me wrong, I adore the LTT screwdriver. I really do. But for stuff like this, you just got to do it. Does it have good torque? No. Most of the ones I use die after a few screws. I mean, it'll last for quite some time, but it's not strong. Like, that's as tight as it just got there, but I'm sure I can tighten that a fair bit more by hand. Yeah, I could tighten that a lot more by hand. But I just use it for running screws in. Like this, I've got so many screws to run in. I'll run them in by that and then make sure everything's where I need it and then come through with a LTT screwdriver or a hex key and tighten things. It's just really good for saving my carpal tunnel from getting exacerbated by running in screws over and over again. So it's by no means perfect, but yeah. Got to go with a Hodo if you need more heft. Yeah, I've not tried any of the stronger ones or the name brandy ones personally. Too cheap. Too cheap for that. Like, I say that and then I'm like, oh, I love the LTT screwdriver. But, you know, hey. Oh, this is going to be such a pain to do. Damn it. I really screwed myself up on this. Oh, well. Roll this in, push it down. Haha. That worked. My carpal tunnel makes its own ratcheting sound when screwing things in. Oof. Sorry to hear that. Mine has not been so bad since I got that electric screwdriver. That legitimately helped me. In the early days of this channel, or of like doing YouTube with 3D printing stuff, I screwed in so many screws by hand and hurt my wrists so much. Trackball mice saved mine. I have that vertical, well, here, the vertical mouse, and that really helps. But have you ever needed to use a fat wrench to torque bolts and nuts? I don't know what a fat wrench is. The DeWalt gyro screwdriver is great. Got it open box, 50% off. I've heard great things about that one too. Doesn't hurt, just makes a sound. All right, well, that's good. Could be worse, could be worse. It could hurt too. All right, let me stick these in. This long hex wrench is just long enough to shove these as far as I need to go. Yeah, okay. Florian, you were totally correct. I wish Logitech would make a real MX Master version of this thing. I love this mouse, but it's such a piece of garbage. I don't have my MX Master 3 here to compare, but if anybody's not familiar, this is the MX Vertical. Yeah, like the MX Master, absolutely. This thing costs the same as the MX Master 3, but the MX Master 3 has a side scroll wheel, so you can scroll side to side with it. It has a significantly better build quality than this. The build quality on this, I can't express it, but it's very lightweight. and cheap feeling compared to the MX Master 3. But it costs the same price as the MX Master, and it's part of the MX line. It's the MX Vertical. They really need to make an MX Vertical Master. I would gladly pay another $20, $30 for a better build quality version of this thing. Love the MX Ergo, but the coating on it deteriorates over the years. Yeah, this has a bit of the same problem. All the MX Masters have that problem. Using my MX Master 3 side wheel a lot for programming or spreadsheet editing. Yeah, I use it all the time too. I gave my MX Master 3 to Ruby because she does a lot of stuff with spreadsheets and yeah, with databases. She does a lot of stuff with databases, so yeah. Your thoughts on remixing a model? I found something on printables that was labeled no remix allowed, so I found a step file of the item and made my own design off that. Now they claim I copied. If you made a fresh design, that's not remixing. If you made your own fresh design, that's just not remixing. I'm gonna guess, pure guessing here, you probably use theirs as inspiration. That's such a slippery, hard one to really say. I really don't have a good sentiment on that. Like, as a designer, I really hate it when it's clear if it's somebody like took my design as inspiration and recreated off of it. I've done it too. Like, you know, sometimes there's only one way to slice a potato, you know, like to get through that project. Inspired, but not the same. Yeah, like, I know as a designer, it's really hard to understand that somebody didn't copy me when it's clear that I inspired them. But the reality is, that's, you know, sometimes there's only one way to slice something, and it is what it is. If you didn't take their design and reuse it to make your design, you didn't remix them. You were just heavily inspired. Yeah, the infinite scroll wheel in the MX Master, I love that too. I really do love that. My first Revo mod for the FL Sun was inspired but not remixed, and I credited the original creator as inspiration. I do that too. Like my if anybody saw those Lego leaves that I created or that I made last year. Those Lego interlocking Lego leaves that I made for last year's Christmas, the Christmas wreath. I don't have any of them around right now. Those were inspired. Like, I did not make the original design. I was not the first person to make those. But I didn't like the designs that were out there, so I just credited that. I was like, hey, you know, I created this from scratch. I created the design from scratch. But I credited them. I have no problem doing that. He came at me like an ass. That's the hard part. Like, so many people burn themselves on these things by, like, I try and approach people kindly first. Like, when I see people selling my designs, and my designs are all non-commercial, or almost all non-commercial. My original designs are non-commercial. If it's 3D printer parts or something, they're under open source license. But my stuff that I created, that I create myself, I put as a non-commercial license, and I license through Patreon. I allow people to resell my designs. When I see somebody who's selling my designs that they don't have permission, I just reach out to them as nicely as I can and say, hey, look, my designs are under non-commercial license. Please consider either becoming a licensed seller or stop selling it. Like, and you know, 75% of the time they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, didn't know that. And they'll take their listing down and they'll stop selling it. Awesome. The other 25% of it, well, 75% is not fair. I've had more than one person be like, oh, I didn't realize that. And they'll go join up and become a licensed seller, and then they're good. And then like a quarter of the time, they'll be like, screw you, blah, blah, blah. You put the designs out there. They should be free. Get fucked. And those people I'll submit takedowns to. Nathan Chu, welcome. Hello, hello. Welcome to chat. as I'm cursing about people selling designs. Not to say that has anything to do with you, but, you know, good time to come in. All right, I got almost all of these in here now. Couple more to go in. I think I'm going to stand this up to put the last couple in. I don't want to lean those rails on myself. They're greasy. How dare you, Nathan? I'm using Nathan's design on my the proto extruder on the Cookie CAD V0. I used it. You gonna stay up? You will stay up. Cool. Dealing with people can be annoying. Yes, it can. I try to do it as little as I can. So I created an entire business based around having to interact with people. What a smart move on my own part. I don't like talking to people. Let's make a whole business talking to people. I never claimed to be the smartest or the brightest bulb. Timber! Yeah, hopefully not. But you get the idea of what the column is now. There's the column of the... Whew. Yeah, there's like a burr or something in some of these. They don't want to roll. I mean, you're chill and tend to attract chill people. Hagnatic, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Because I try to create a chill environment and try to bring around chill folks and keep things all nice and calm and easygoing. That is the goal. So thank you. Can't live with them, can't kill them. Yeah. I'm a dev and mostly work from home, so that helps not dealing with people. Yeah, totally. Like, that's the, you know, that is the positive thing about my job is I work alone. It's just me here in the studio all day, and I like it that way. I'm totally good with that. So, like, yeah, my job is talking to you folks and hanging out and whatever, and talking to folks in the YouTube comments and on Twitter all day long and whatever. That is my job. But at the end of the day, it's just me hanging out in the studio with Gene and Domino and Ruby, and that's my life, and I quite like it. So, not spending hours commuting. Oh God, that is so nice. My last day job that I had a 1.5 hour one-way commute. So 3 hours every day I spent in the car going to and from work. I do not miss that at all. My commute now is roll out of bed and walk into the studio. Like Ruby and I we were looking at the move to Portland, and when we were realizing we were going to have to get a bigger house to get a bigger garage for me, she was like, well, okay, well, what if we rent like a commercial space or buy a commercial building for you to have a studio? First of all, buying a building was out. They were way too expensive for where we are in life right now. But I was like, I adore being at home. I adore rolling out of bed and I'm at work. It also means that when she goes to work at the tattoo studio, I'm home to take care of the house. So I can do laundry. I'm the housewife, like plain and simple. And I have no problem with that. She makes more money than I do, so I'm not going to complain. And you know, I'm good with that. I can take care of the pets. I can run errands. Like, I am perfectly content with that. And losing that by having a studio that wouldn't be attached to the house, I just wasn't interested in that. So it also means, you know, in the middle of the night when I'm running prints for a project that needs to be done or whatever, like a long-term project or whatever the heck, I can go check on prints at 1 a.m. and make sure that they're going well. Like, I know Uncle Jesse with his studio, he runs all of his printers on like on smart outlets, so that he can like check in on them, and if the prints are failing, he'll just cancel the print. Just take the pet and print with you to pet and laundry with you. Yeah. I thought about that. I was like, oh, okay, if I get a studio, I'm gonna have to take Gene to work with me every day, or Domino to work with me, and it didn't feel fair to them. I didn't think that was fair, having to take them away from the house all the time, because like right now I leave the studio door slightly open, so they can come and go as they please. The door is always slightly ajar, and they're capable of opening and closing it. So if they want to go get a drink, or they want to go to the litter box or whatever, they can go do that. And I don't have to have a litter box in the studio, because they know where it is, they know how to get to it, and they can go. They can do that. Domino doesn't use litter box, but you get my point. So I wish she would use litter box. That'd be great. Yeah. It's those things, you know. I don't care for it. I don't want to do it. I like having the studio at home. I worked for a shop once where like their workshop through the poo portal. Exactly, Carrie. Exactly. Through the poo portal. I think I'm going to sell that. Just because that's an IKEA cabinet, and moving it across country doesn't make sense. So I was looking at it and I'm like, I guess I'll sell it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, what an interesting thing to buy on Facebook Marketplace. A litter box inside an IKEA cabinet with a poo portal. Love my basement shop. As a matter of fact, still in my underwear working on my machines. Exactly. I can do that too. I can just wander out here in my underwear, check on things, tweak on things, end up getting distracted and working on a machine in my underwear. You know, things I can do since I'm at home. All right, got most of these in. Got a couple more. Might be dangerous with power tools. Yeah, like I work. I can't lift my leg that high, but I'm not wearing boots right now. I work in socks. I walk around the studio all day in socks, and it's not the smartest idea with power tools, but I still do it. Do as I say, not as I do. I've definitely been known to operate power tools while not wearing boots. But, you know, whatever I gotta do. I think half of us right now are. Ah, that one just slipped right in. Is it crooked? Oh, it's going in crooked. That's why. It's going in crooked. That's why. Yeah, I love the idea of a much bigger space for a studio. Don't get me wrong, but not having it attached to the house would be a real drastic change for me. So for right now, it's still studio attached to the house. Use my motorcycle boots to save on money until I get proper work boots. Hey, that works. Gotta do what you gotta do. Gotta do what you gotta do. At least you're being safer than me half the time. Alright. A couple of these rolled in. And then we'll have our FMJ on. Few more in and we can tighten shit down. Power tools and underwear. Yeah, let's not go there. We don't need to go there. Let's keep this family friendly. Keep it family friendly. It's Sunday stream after all, if nothing else. So the Americans who might be here are on a Sunday morning. And then the rest of the world, better time for you, except for Australia. Sorry about that. There's no way to cover all the bases, you know? I know I said at the beginning of the stream, somebody said, oh, it's midnight in Australia. I was like, oh, sorry. Not much I can do about that. Can't cover all the bases. Especially this channel. This channel has better international viewership, I've noticed, which I'm not upset about. This channel definitely has better international viewership than the main channel does. So maybe partly because of the way I do it. Yep, nearly 2 a.m. now, but still here. All right. Well, welcome to it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. All right, let me check, make sure this is in the right position. All right, looks pretty good. Millimeter too high. Or not millimeter, 0.3 millimeter high. Let me check again. Some Aussie as well, yep. I think Jeff's in from Australia here. All right, now we can tighten this down. Check this. That's looking, feeling, a little catch there. A little shift on there. I just shift down one of these. I need to make sure these are all aligned to each other as best I can. As I nick up my FMJ here. All right, I think I just shifted down one of them. Oh yeah. Nope, you gotta go back up. Just enough playing. Will moving to Portland impact your stream schedule? I mean, will you stream at the same hour-ish? Oh, that's a really good point. I'll probably try and stick to the same stream schedule. Because I feel like... Because my usual stream schedule is 5 p.m. Eastern time for... is 5 p.m. Eastern time for Thursday streams. And 10 a.m. Eastern time for Sunday streams. That's pretty much where I usually land. So 5 p.m. Eastern time would be 2 p.m. West Coast time. That's perfectly fine. So Thursday streams will almost certainly stay the same time. That makes good sense to me. For me, personally. 4 a.m. in New Zealand. Woof. So that time makes perfect sense for me. Still, Sunday morning streams might be tough. I want to keep these going. I like this. I like doing this for those folks who aren't in the US at least, to have a morning stream, but that's 7 a.m. and I am not that early of a riser anymore. That said, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it because that does make some sense. If I'm up for a 7 a.m. stream on Sunday mornings, then by the time I'm done it's 10 a.m. and then I can spend the rest of my Sunday, just hang out with Ruby, do breakfast or whatever, because that's about the time I would expect her to be up when she's not working on a Sunday. So, yeah, I don't know. I will try and maintain the same schedule. I would like to try and maintain this schedule. I like it, and I think it's totally doable. I just got to figure it out. But, so yes, I would like to maintain the same schedule. Shift. Should I find my... streaming later on Sundays would overlap with Steve. Yeah, that's the thing too. I specifically stream at this time both to be early for Europeans and Brits. I still consider you folks Europeans, sorry. I do it for that reason and also to not overlap with Steve. So, correct. I specifically aim not to overlap with Steve, so... I'm going to tighten down a couple of these as I got these engaged to each other. And I'll shift the other ones outside of here. Fine by me, just curious. Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's a very good question. I want to make sure I'm not shifting any of this stuff around while I'm tightening this, so while I'm moving things. Brits are Europeans, just not in the EU. True, true. Tea and energy drink, what a combo. Hey, it's decaf tea, so the tea is decaf. Tea's for my voice as much as anything. And I just love a good cup of tea, so. I wonder how much the rat rig mill will cost. It looks similar to the Milo. It's very similar to the Milo, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I think pricing is going to be similar to the Milo. I'll reach out to them and ask and maybe get some ideas on that. I really didn't talk to them about their mill because I was so focused on VCore 4, and then I knew I was going to be building a Milo, so, you know. Yeah, all that. All right, let's tap this up. One of these is a little. I gotta align this with the other. Align this with the other. All right, tighten that down. Yeah, I would imagine they're going to aim to be in the same price point as the Milo, because, you know, kind of what's the point if it's not? I'm purely guessing on that, but yeah. Purely guessing, but, you know, I think that makes sense. Okay, and then the last extrusion, line that up. Gotta make sure the top of these are flush to each other. Calibrated finger feel. All right, tighten these. I should probably check the instructions, make sure there's not some process they want me to go through here, but I'm going to check it in a second. All right, let's take a look back at the instructions, see if I'm missing anything. Screen share. FMJ plates on, all the screws in. Bottom 4 holes will remain empty, yeah. Add some Loctite, no problem. Thin, long, flexible tool to align, cool. Turn your half-assembled column over, repeat the FMJ plate, done. Loosely bolt the second one in place, push the base FMJ against a known flat surface so they're both flush. I just flushed it up with some 1, 2, 3 blocks. So, cool. All right. All right. I can flip this over, tighten the other side. Flip this over and tighten the other side. Run all these in with this electric screwdriver quick. Electric screwdriver. And I'll go back over it with a hex wrench. Wish that automatic tool changers would be cheaper on CNC. So expensive, yeah. What are you planning on filling your ballast with? I made an epoxy granite to fill mine. I haven't decided yet. I'm not going to do that now. I will be doing that, but I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to do it after the move. So I will. I'm also curious to do like some before and after testing. So I will be doing that after. I'll probably just ask the folks from the Milo team what they recommend, but I know a lot of folks like the epoxy granite thing, so might go that way. Don't know. Does anyone know a bistable small linear electromagnet Does not need a lot of force, but it should hold in each of the two positions without using more energy. Over my head. Anybody got any input for them? All right, Titan time. Let's start kind of in the middle here with this middle one. Can't you just fill it with gravel or sand? Yeah, you can. But if it's shifting around, if it's a material that doesn't fill the void very nicely and can shift around, I think there's probably potential for it to cause resonance as much as it helps resonance. So that's purely speculation on my part, but yeah. Got some 1, 2, 3 blocks for building my Voron Zero. This one is one of my redneck cross-threaded Loctites here. Love you. Bye. Ruby's headed off to work. Sand gets everywhere. Yeah. What's that line from one of the prequels of Star Wars about hating sand? Anakin hated sand. Ground barium sulfate is a great filler to add to a mix. It's very dense. Interesting. Yeah, epoxy will keep it from like leaking out of any holes or any little areas. Like I've worked with machines that were sand filled before, and any little pinhole, eventually you're gonna have sand coming out of it. It's kind of annoying. So ground barium, huh? Interesting. Sounds fancy if nothing else. My tennis elbow's been acting up lately. Speaking of all my body hurts, the theme of this stream, everything hurts. All right. Couple more. We're getting there. We're getting there. God, 68 screws. So 39 on this side, 39 on the other side. Lovely. Come on. BAS04 is used as the filler in sound deadening versus sand. Oh, it's denser than sand. So, okay, that makes sense. Are you planning on building a casa for your Milo? Yes, but not the official one. So anybody who is a channel member can see the preview. There's an area in the shop. I'll tell you folks anyway. There's an area in the new studio that's already kind of like, not enclosed, but there's a loft in one area of the new studio. And underneath that loft, I'm intending to be the dirty area where the Milo is going to live. So like my laser cutter, the Milo, probably like a drill press, things like that are going to live in that area. And I intend, because like it's going to be a unique space, I intend to build my own enclosure for the Milo that fits into that space and or is integrated into that space. So yes, I intend to build an enclosure, but I almost certainly will not build the official enclosure for the Milo. If anybody's not familiar, LDO is coming out with the casa is what the Milo team calls their official enclosure for the machine, which moves the electronics to an outward area and allows for like flood cooling or, you know, at least chip control so you don't have pieces flying everywhere while you're machining. So yeah. Chrome 86X, hello all. Hello, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so I do intend to build my own enclosure, just not the official one. The official one looks neat and all. I just, you know, I want one that's going to be specific to the space. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe the official one will fit the space really well. I doubt it, but maybe. As much as anything, I don't really want the to move the electronics to where the official one puts them. So, we'll see. We'll see. I'm intending that area to be like enclosed with like rock wool sound deadening and things like that, so that the Milo can run machining away on metal and I'll just have a webcam where I can watch it. And I don't have to listen to it. So, because the other factor is I work in the studio. Like my desk, if anybody's not aware, my desk is right there where I edit videos and I do my design work and everything. So, like, a Milo machining away on aluminum while I'm trying to edit a video is not great. So, I would like to have at least some way to cut down on that noise so it's a bearable level. We'll see. Maybe it won't be. I'd say it would be worth moving the electronics away if you plan to add coolant line or something. Yeah, totally. Hope you do a video on sound dampening. Cool. Would be a little distracting, yeah. Yeah, no, I will do a video. We'll do a video when we build out that section, that space. Absolutely. We'll do a video about that. And part of that will be like this and the sound deadening and all that. I'd say it would be worth moving the electronics if you do plan to do coolant. I plan to move the electronics. I do plan that, but I just mean the original, the official enclosure. I don't necessarily know that where they move them to is what I want to do. I'm picturing more of maybe like a separate box, just an enclosed sealed box that I can access in a different way for the electronics. I gotta decide. But yeah. I think milling metal is a very attention demanding. You can't set it and go home. Yeah, totally. You're right. Like, I'm not going to run it unattended, but like, that's why I say like, I'll probably keep a monitor mounted to the outside. Not set it and forget it. Totally. What I mean is, I'll still be close, but I won't necessarily be standing over the machine all the time once I get confident with it. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to the point. I'll not get to the point, and I'll just need to, you know, be a CNC minder. That happens. The CASA is 4 kilograms to print the parts. Woo. Yeah. So, I don't intend to like leave. I'm not expecting it to be overnight machining parts while I'm in bed. But I just need some way to control sound so I can like do other things at the same time. So the hope is that I can set up, you know, a monitor, a webcam, and at least once I'm confident that the machine is running well and the process is set and going, I can just monitor from, you know, 20 feet away versus hovering over the machine. So who knows? Maybe I'll set it up on a smart switch so I can emergency cut power from a distance, along with the emergency cutout that's on the machine. So, any projects in mind for the Milo on Mantic Labs? Quite potentially. I'd love to mess around with making my own CNC 3D printer parts. And we'll probably do that on Mantic Labs more so than Mantic Really. And if nothing else, we'll just play with it on here. Like, I'm certain there will be a video on the Milo on Mantic Labs. Probably after I get some projects in on it, I'll do like a recap of like how I feel about the whole project from building it to running it and whatever. So yeah, there'll definitely be something. I'm not 100% what yet, but yes, definitely. And if anything, I expect probably more content on Mantic Labs about the Milo than on the main channel. Again, back to that whole, like, I don't want to make things... I like to keep things on the main channel more accessible for people. So, using the CNC that I built myself, like, doesn't align with that so much. So, what vise are you going to use with it? No idea. Haven't made any decisions about that yet. Cheap boards and insulation panels, hardware store supplied, and a few 3D printed 3D prints sounds quicker than 4 kilograms of parts. Yeah, you know, you're totally right. It just comes down to kits like the Casa, things like that come down to taking the burden off of you to build or make something. You know, it's 4 kilograms worth of printed parts, sure, but it's things that you didn't have to design, is what it comes down to. What CAM software do you plan on using? Fusion. Have an SMW Hobby one. It's very nice. All right, cool. I'll definitely be asking for input on that when I make a decision on what vise I'm going with. I'm certain I'll be asking for community input with experience and all. All right, we've got our Z-axis assembled. Let's we're gonna move on to the bearing, the lower bearing idler. There you can see a picture here. This is what the printed parts. Scotty, welcome. Evening. This is what the printed parts would look like if we went with the printed parts. Again, we went with the FMJ mod, but you could assemble it with the printed parts, and you could machine your own FMJ mod on the machine. So, we just, the LDO kit comes with the FMJ mod. By the way, I don't think I've said that yet in this stream. Thank you very much to LDO Motors for providing the kit for this build. So, here is our Z-axis assembly with the FMJ parts on here. So we got the big aluminum plate. How thick is that? I don't think I measured. 6 millimeter. 6 millimeter aluminum side plates with 68 screws in here holding these extrusions from open builds together. And then our linear rails for our Z-axis, which will hold our spindle eventually. But there is the Z-axis column coming together. All right, I'm going to put these, get the cat hair off of these. That is always omnipresent around the studio. Thank you, Gene. And then I'm going to put these bearing blocks back on. There we go. Bearing blocks back on. Put one of these stoppers back in so they don't slide off. Cool. All right, now we can put together the lower bearing support piece for the Z-axis. I want to get this grease off my hands. Grease off my hands. Do as I say, don't as I... Do as I say, don't as I do. Don't spray isopropyl alcohol. I need like a warning I could pop up every time I spray isopropyl alcohol. It says, don't do this. All right. Cool. Now, all my printed parts are in this box. Where's my lower bearing support for the Z-axis? Doesn't look like it's in here. Crap. I know I printed it. I know I printed it. I can picture it. What'd I do with it? Oh, there it is. It is in the box. It's just smaller than I expected. It's just smaller than I was expecting. Okay, there's my lower bearing support. Pull off a little bit there. Cool. Lower bearing support piece. This, I use the Bamboo X1 to make the Millennium Team logo stand out. Yeah. IPA is my go-to hand cleaner. Yeah, it is in the studio for me. It's my go-to hand cleaner in the studio. A little bulge out here. I'm just cleaning off with utility knife. All right. Color's nice. Thank you. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I'm digging it. It's lime green ABS from Polymaker. Lime green ABS. All right, we got to put a bearing into here. Where's the bearings? Might be in the box. Angle connectors? No. No. Where are my bearings? Oh, here they are. On the desk. Hey, one popped out. All right. Press the bearing in. It's going in pretty well. I don't really need much external effort on that. Popped right in. A little 608ZZ bearing into this. And then this just bolts to the underside of this extrusion. So, bolts to the underside of here. And then now my carriages won't be able to slide off the bottom once I get that on. Okay, 5M5 by 12s. M5 by 12s. Or 4 M5 by 12s. Thread into the bottom of these extrusions. Is the lime green remote also Polymaker? No, this is just a cheap silicone sleeve off Amazon. It's not terribly far off in color, but it is not the same color. No. I love those things, these cheap silicone socks, because especially when the light's out, we have them on like every TV in the house, different colors. So that, when the lights are out, you can actually see where the hell the remote is, rather than just having a black thing on your couch. Or lost in your bed sheets. All right. I am shaky today. It's a shaky day. Getting hungry. It's almost lunchtime, but we got another 40 minutes yet till Steve goes live, working on his positron build with Nero. So we'll make as much progress as we can. This is going smooth. I'm not upset about this. Making about as much progress as I hoped we would make, so that's good. All right, run these in. Cool. Tighten. David, looks neat. Thank you. It's coming together. It's coming together. I'm happy. Happy with the progress we're making, so we're getting there. We're going to have a complete machine that I can then box up. I can let you folks know here in chat, the next main channel video is boxing up my 3D printers. So I've got to build crates to put these machines in. So that's the next main channel video, is how I'm going to transport all of these machines cross country safely. And then maybe we'll do a video when we get there and do a post-mortem analysis. Did it actually work? Don't know. Moving is a lot of work. Yes, it is. It's a lot of boxes. Yeah. I'm dwindling down on machines, but it's still not a small amount. I think only about 8 or 9 are coming with. I think. Okay, that is on. That's attached. Ballast box. Not requirement, but it's recommended. I didn't print the ballast box yet, so we're not going to do anything with that for now. Okay, we're not going to do anything with that for now. Where are you moving to, though? You were in Philly. Yes, we're in Philly now. We're in Philly now. We're heading to Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon is where we're going. So, how many machines are coming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the Milo, so 10 technically. 10-ish are coming with. So there's a 2.4 I haven't started building yet that's coming as well. And there's 1 or 2 printers in boxes. That's not counting printers in boxes. The FL Sun S1 is still in the box. Not bothering to unbox that until we're in the new studio. I have a Lulz bot, an old Lulz bot. We'll talk about that another time. That's still in a box. And a Voron 2.4 build I haven't started yet. So a lot of boxes to build and packing chips to buy. Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's a few things I want to do, like the Trident. Like, I'm going to take the bed out of the Trident. Same thing with my Magneto, my Mercury 1. The beds are going to come out of both of those, and so I'm going to have to build a box just for the beds of those to go into. May or may not have fallen asleep on the couch. Well, welcome in anyway, Millennium Machine Works. Stream has been going well. We've largely got the column together, so I think it's been going quite smoothly. I'd be scared to have to pack 3D printers up and move them cross country. Absolutely. Like, I'm gonna design mounts. Like for the Voron 2.4, I'm going to design some printed mounts that'll be installed, bolted to the gantry to hold the gantry in place for the move. Same thing on the Trident and the Mercury 1, all like clamps effectively to hold the gantry so they're not wiggling around on the move. And then, like I said, the beds are coming off of the Trident and the Mercury 1. The bed on the 2.4 is fixed, so I'm not worried about that. But those, I'm worried about damaging the mounts, so yeah. Wise decision separating the beds, considering what happened to Steve's printer. Yeah, well, I learned that mistake from the Magneto X. Because my Magneto X, as did Steve's, came... when they first shipped the beta unit Magneto X's out, they left the beds in for shipment from China, and it bent the bed brackets. So it was like, hey, when I move, I'm not doing that. Speaking of the Trident, will you finish before the move? No. I think now I've realized there's just not enough time. I might try and do one more stream on the Trident before the move and make a little more progress. I'm going to work on it today, in fact, because Vitali sent me new parts, but I'm not going to stream this portion because I'm going to be replacing the CNC carriage that's on there right now. Vitali sent me, if anybody hasn't seen, I posted on Instagram and Twitter. Vitali sent me a blue anodized version of it. It's the same one that's on there now, just the raw aluminum is on there right now. And so going to the blue anodized one. So I'm not going to bother streaming that as I'm just swapping it. Yeah. Nice, that makes sense. The lock gantry's in place for ship. Yep. Like, I really shouldn't need much packing material around the printers. My intention is to build crates that they go in. I'm going to build crates for each one. And I'm going to do a video about building the crates and then the printed pieces and the thought process behind them. So I'm going to do a main channel video about that whole process. I'll probably only do like one printer. I probably won't repeat it. But like I ran into recently the Kirigami bed on this Cookie CAD V0. Between either Rocky Mountain Rep Rap, because I took that machine to Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival, and then I brought it back from that show in Colorado. And then I took that machine down to North Carolina to work on my dad's truck. Somewhere in there, the Kirigami bed bent. And it bent down. So I had to like bend it back up and then re-level the bed, and not great. So that one, that machine, I think I'm probably going to get the, you know, that foam, that expanding foam packing material. I think I might get that for that machine and just fill it up with that stuff. Like you will, like I'll probably do with my computer for the graphics card and such for transporting that. So I'm debating, but I think I might do that on that one. Undecided yet, but yeah. Okay, we got the Z-axis screw on this. Do I have the Z anti-backlash knot? I don't know that I printed that. Just realizing I don't know that I printed that. I didn't. Oops. Oops. I did not print the Z anti-backlash knot. Shit. Alright. Well, I'm going to have to do that after stream. Looking in here. Just want to see what else I might have missed. 13 millimeters. Alright, I can set up the lock collar on the lead screw. Z-axis lead screw. I can install the lead screw, the lock collar on this a while. Little blue Loctite on the threads of this thing. Thread this in to here. And slide this up this rail to 13 millimeters up. $13 millimeters, come on. Cool, 13 millimeters. That packaging foam should be reused to ship printers or store tools in boxes. Yeah, I wish I had more of it. I do wish I had more of it for that reason. I used to save that stuff, but like it just got to be too much, so I started throwing it out. And I'm really kicking myself right now for that. But like I said, the printers themselves, I don't expect to need packing material for. The printers themselves, I'm not expecting to need packing material. I'm just going to build a box that they go in and then bolt them into the box. So like I'll make brackets that mount to the frame that will actually bolt them down to the bottom of whatever box they live in. And they shouldn't need any packing material once I'm done. So that's the idea anyway, where I'm headed with it, is to create crates that they don't need any packing material in so that they can safely transport and not have to go get a bunch of foam. Now, tools and stuff in toolboxes, yeah, you're not wrong. It would be handy for that stuff. Especially that stuff's all going in a trailer my dad got for me, thankfully. I have a trailer and I sold it a couple months ago, and of course now I need a trailer again. Thankfully my dad sought one out and got one. Especially their trailers are freaking crazy right now. The market for trailers got insane price-wise. Maybe like Bamboo ship their printers, bolt the head so it won't move around. That's exactly what I'm intending, yes. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make some printed mounts for the gantries so that the tool head can't move and the carriage can't move. And then like the 2.4, I'm going to make some that hold the carriage at the flying gantry at a certain height so it can't go up and down and bounce. That's exactly the idea. It's just going to be like a box, a pallet box that I can put the printer on, screw it down to it, put a couple of mounts inside of each printer so that they can't wiggle around, and then enclose the box so that I can stack a couple on top of each other. And that's the idea. Yes. Inspired, by the way, a bunch of manufacturers are shipping things nowadays. So, yes, that is the idea. The only one I'm not certain about is the Mark IV. The Prusa Mark IV, I'm not 100% what I'm going to do there. I got to think about it. Because it doesn't bolt inside of that enclosure. It's kind of free inside of that enclosure, so it could bounce around in there. And I really don't I want to leave it in the enclosure for transport. There's no reason to transport those two things separately. So I got to decide what I want to do about that. I haven't figured that out yet. I might make something that goes like off the like a mount that goes to the top of it, because there's bolt holes in the top of the enclosure, and maybe has like a bracket that slides down and just presses the top of the duct tape and just presses the top of the i3 frame down into the enclosure so it can't bounce up, because it can't slide forward and back or side to side, but it could bounce up. So I just need something to keep it down at the bottom of the frame. I probably will use foam on the Mark IV, just to like pack foam around the tool head so it doesn't go anywhere. Weirdness of the A1. One needs loosening, the other tightening when you unbox them. I don't remember. My test pieces fit the OG screen mount for the SV08. Now time to do the full print. Awesome, Eddie. Good luck with that. Awesome. Good luck with that. And I'm not sure if the A1's coming. I really wanted to get rid of the A1 before the move. Like, I want to keep it, but I just can't justify moving it. But I'm waiting on the replacement bed. I don't want to give it away. You know, if I give it away to somebody, I want it to have the not recall bed in it, but I don't have the non-recall bed yet. So I might have to keep that just because. All right. Cool. All right. The rest of this requires me looking at the rest of these instructions. I'm missing these parts. This right here. This anti-backlash nut. I've got to print another one of these. I missed that in my printed parts. So, yeah. Hey, Jake, if you're here, Millennium Machine Works. Is the Z-axis anti-backlash nut the same as the... is it the Y-axis one? Either the Y or the X-axis. Is it the same printed part? If so, I can just send that to print, but I kind of need to confirm that before I move forward. I'll look in the instructions, whatever, but... Speaking of, clear off the bed on the 2.4 so that can get printing. Hey, Alan, good luck with the rest of the stream. I have to be up for work in 2.5 hours. Night. Jeff, thank you for hanging out. You're a champ. Thank you for being here. And have a good day at work. So, I don't think we're going to be streaming for too much longer, so you're not going to miss a whole heck of a lot. But a little bit of brim stuck to the bed on my 2.4. It's a separate part. Z has Z written on it. Okay, thank you. All right, I will get this heating anyway. Warm up the chamber, and I'll revisit that. Whew. This bed is shot on my 2.4. It's time for a new one. There's a big bubble right here and here under the PEI. Is what it is. Still working on my magneto filament profiles. Alright, that's preheating. Extruder XPETG CF looks awesome. Cool. I don't have any input on that. My magneto is gone, and I gotta wait on the new production unit once I move, so. Sadly, I don't have any input for you on that. Good luck with it. Okay. Now, we got this column together. I don't really know if there's anything else we can do in this stream. Oh, now we're a little tippy front heavy. Woo! Alright, don't let that go. What else can we do? Extruder has some complete profiles for the X1C. Reusing those. Okay, that's awesome. Good that they give you a starting point. I wish more manufacturers would do that. I wish more manufacturers would provide some starting profile points. Will be some chonker of a mill. It's going to be a beast. It's going to look sick if nothing else. So I'm really looking forward to it. Especially, I got to play around with my design work a little bit for the tool head and the skirts and such. I want to play around with a little more of my take on things. So yeah. I think I might have to call it here. I got to print those parts, which means I got to go get them loaded up and going, and not some outdated 5-year-old version of Cura. Yeah, God, I'm so sick of manufacturers making their own slicers. Like, stop making your own slicer. Just use Orca slicer. Just use Prusa slicer. Something like. Stop trying to create your own. It doesn't make you special. Unless you're gonna like go Prusa slicer with it and make a seriously like well-developed one-off slicer option, which even then is based on Slick VR. But you know what I mean. But like just putting your name on a slicer, it's not worth it. It's such a waste of time, and it's such a waste of the resources. Absolutely. I don't get it. I get having my name's on it, but yeah. Have you looked at PETCF from Bamboo Labs for rigidity? No, I think I have a spool of it here somewhere, but I haven't tried it. Have not tried it. I don't generally think of PET materials as rigid. They usually have a little more give to them, but then I haven't used PETCF to say. So, yeah. Rigid, I would definitely look, if I was looking to do rigid, I'd be looking more like ASA CF or ASA GF, ABS GF, something like that, personally. But or I've got some PCCF is okay for rigidity, I find anyway, as long as it's not directly acted upon by like motion components. Would you use ASA GF for Voron parts? Yeah, totally. Maybe not some of the more dimensionally specific ones, ASA or ABS GF. I have used ABS GF for Voron parts. Some of the Fadus ABS GF. Is it ABS? No, it's ASA GF, sorry. Some of the Fadus ASA GF. Stuff prints beautifully from Fadus, and I think Soraya Tech now has some too. Everybody's coming out with these GFs. Glass fields. What do you think of the LDO Nighthawk 36? Will it be worth it? I'm really hoping so. I think I'm going to run it on a Trident. I was planning to run a EBB 36, but I think I'm going to go to the Nighthawk 36 on that build. I'm really looking forward to playing with that. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a lot easier to operate than CAN, a lot easier to set up. Whether or not it's going to be superior in any way, don't really have any good answer for that. I have some PC ABS, and it warps like crazy compared to standard APS. Had to lower cooling so much to be able to print with it. Agreed. I have some PC ABS here too. I forget where. I have some PC ABS here, but I found the exact same thing. It was basically useless for me. And it really kind of irritated me because I reached out to the manufacturer and was like, hey, do you have recommendations for printing this stuff? Because it just warps like crazy. And it's driving me nuts. And I was getting so many print failures. And they really did not give me good information back. They were like, they basically Googled their own product and sent me that information. I'm like, cool, that is not helpful. It was like a customer service person who didn't know what they were doing, who did that, and the owner of the company reached out afterward and was like, I'm sorry if that happened. But yeah. But I haven't touched the stuff since then. Somebody asked about PCCF or PACF, was it? You asked? Oh yeah, PACF compared to those. I don't have enough experience to give a good breakdown. I find nylons are not good for motion components because they creep and they have too much give. So like if you're using something like a tool head, if you're using like the hot end mounting, like where the hot end mounts into, that's fine to use. What's the benefit of PC ABS versus the raw version? It's supposed to be easier to print than plain polycarbonate, and it's not clear. or translucent. It's black. Yeah, PC ABS. So it's black for one. I can tell you who the manufacturer who I had a problem with was. I love Protopasta. They're good folks and they make great stuff. This material is not among my opinions of their great stuff. This is their PC ABS. Supposed to be easier to print. Supposed to be easier to print than plain polycarbonate. I find plain polycarbonate easier to print than this. That was the claim anyway, or one of the claims. And it's black and not clear. Yeah, I don't know. I had such a terrible time with this that I stopped using it. So I've printed plenty of plain polycarbonate without issue. As long as it's dry, stuff prints great. And you have like, you know, you still have all the considerations of higher temperature material, but I've had great luck with polycarbonate. A handful of the parts on Reanimaker are polycarbonate, printed beautifully. But yeah, don't know. Oh, PACF I was talking about. It creeps too much for like rigid components. So like your X-axis or Y-axis gantry parts, I wouldn't use PACF. Your carriage for your tool head, I wouldn't use PACF. But like your hot end mount, Maurice, welcome, hello. Your hot end mount or things like that, where they're not directly acted on by belts and motion components, those I wouldn't worry about using it. And it should provide higher temperature resistance. So that's what it should do. Like it's not CAF. I was just thinking this tool head is PA. This is nylon, but this is MJF printed nylon, I think. Or SLS, I don't remember. I think it's MJF, not SLS. But the Bondtech printed toolhead stealth burner for CPAP, and this one's going on the next 2.4 build. My heated chamber 2.4 build is going to get this. So the full crazy toolhead from Slice Engineering and Bondtech, provided by Slice Engineering. Thank you to them, because that thing is not cheap. But I'm using a CNC aluminum carriage on it. So I will not be using a printed carriage. It'll be a CNC aluminum one. So, bah. So for structural parts with some torsion forces, still ABS is the better option. Yes. If you've got like side loading forces on parts or like motors that might want to pivot or something, ABS or ASA are more rigid and temperature stable, while nylon, in theory, makes sense. But nylon, one of the wonderful factors of nylon is it can give a little more. So it'll give before it breaks, which is great for like handles and things that you're going to be interacting with where that give can be really useful. And it's why nylon is such a common material out there in like injection molding. And injection molding has different forces upon it and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to like your motion components for a Voron, if you want to print parts for a Voron in nylon, if you search nylon printed Voron parts, you'll find like failures. Like the teeth where the belt meshes in, the teeth will like not rip off, but they'll like give and the belt will pull out. And so, yeah, for that stuff, it's just not ideal. The give factor of it works against you. And that can be the same with various materials. Like polycarbonate, I think, can have that same issue. ABS and ASA has kind of been landed on because it stays rigid better. It doesn't creep. Like PLA is a very strong material, but if you put a weight on a piece of PLA, over time it will slowly creep down and give over time, where ABS or ASA don't do that as much. I was considering joint parts for my CNC. I would stick ABS ASA. Personally, all this stuff is ABS and ASA. Talking of SLS, I'd love to have one of those Micronic printers. Yeah, me too. So would I. I haven't talked to them. They followed me on Twitter, but I have not talked to them. I know Joel has one. If you need to hit it with a hammer, PETG, PC, or nylon. If it needs to hold a baby on a shelf in a hot room, ABS. That's a great way of putting it. If you need to hit it with a hammer, PETG, PC, or nylon. If you need it to hold a baby on a shelf, in a hot room, ABS. Agreed. Very agreed. Yeah, like the impact resistance, the slight give work for PETG, PC, and nylon. All three of those have that same kind of characteristic. But again, they all give. So that's why they have that impact resistance or long-term longevity of holding up to non-continuous static loads. Is the best way I could put it. I'm sure I'm putting that wrong, but I'm not an engineer. Yeah. What else was I saying? Oh, the SLS, the Micronic. That thing looks sick. Really interested to see what comes of that whole project. Love to get my hands on one. Maybe someday I'll be able to add one to the studio. Like, just buy one, whatever. Like, there's definitely stuff I have significant use for that. If anybody saw my video about printing car parts, I really wanted to release these clamps that I designed. These fuel line clamps for cars. I wanted to release these as a product, but I think they are much better suited to SLS. These are a thing where nylon would be a good idea. These are ABS or ASA. These are ASA. And the rigidity kind of works against these. These could really stand to be nylon because the give, long-term wise, I feel like the give makes more sense on these parts. Because a car frame flexes and moves. So that give would be a good idea on these. And I think these would be an excellent part to print in nylon in an SLS printer. But I just can't justify, if I was to do it, it would be to sell them. And I can't justify doing that like through a service like PCBWay, Xometry, Shapeways, any of those, because it would cost too much and I would have to charge too much for these. But if I had a Micronic, I could definitely see a use for that. I would absolutely print those all day long on the Micronic and put them in my store. I want one for minis. Don't really need nylon for a lot of things, but I'd rather not mess with resin if I can avoid it. Me too. I don't like resin. I don't like... It's wonderful. It's very useful. I considered printing these in resin at one point, and I just don't want to deal with production of resin, like resin production. I think my resin machines are going to end up in the dirty room with the Milo, because I want them in an enclosed space that I can filter a little better and keep the smell down in the studio. Not sure if SLS texture would do well for minis. I know both Joel and Uncle Jesse both have Micronics now. Joel and Uncle Jesse both have Micronics, and I believe they both already printed minis on their Micronics, or at least Joel did, I'm pretty sure. So we'll see. We will see people doing that, and how well it's going to go, we'll find out. Oh. All right, folks, I think it's time for me to jet. Ended a little bit earlier than I had intended to. 10 minutes early. But I think it's time to call it. Thank you for another wonderful stream and a wonderful engaged chat. I always appreciate you folks keeping this lively, me having things to talk about, and hanging out while we work on these projects. I've got to go get some of these parts printed so I can get the Z-axis together. We will have more streams on the Milo before we're all done here. I want to get this done, and I do want to stream the process of getting it done. So look out for announcements, probably on Twitter and maybe YouTube, if it sends notifications, who knows. About that, really need to get a Discord going so we can have a better place to send out stream notifications and chat about these things and the behind-the-scenes stuff. That'll be coming soon. All right, folks. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. And if you're not already, please consider becoming a channel member. There is a post with a behind-the-scenes look at the new studio. Just some empty photos of what the new studio space is going to be. But, yeah. And some chat, some thoughts about where I'm headed with the design of it and whatever. So, working on it. Nomad is going to be the chief of the Discord. Thank you, Nomad. So yes, Nomad is going to be spearheading the Discord channel. So thank you very much for that. Very, very appreciated. But look out for more about that soon too. All right, folks. Thank you, and I will catch you all in the next one. Jean, she is snoozing. She's snoozing. Here's the Z-axis column that we got together on this stream. And to finish out the stream, Domino, come here. Come on. Come here. Come here, kiddo. She's like suspicious of me. Come here. Domino, come here. Fine. Jean it is. Sorry, kiddo. I know. All right, folks. Time to head out. See you all in the next one.